Hello, welcome back to another edition of The Simpsons Season Review. If you haven't seen any of our other videos, please feel free and check them out. In this video, we'll be reviewing Homer vs Lisa and the 8th Commandment, which was in Season 2, Episode 13. This episode first aired on February the 7th, 1991.
Now, viewing figures for this dropped slightly from the previous episode, dropped from 26.8 million to 26.2.
It's still decent as it's in the earlier series.
Yeah, and they're still obviously quite fresh on their ideas. Premise of the episode is Homer getting free cable and Lisa basically disagreeing with it, and basically mini feud erupting, Marge and Bart taking sides on it as well. The episode is set up, there's a sequence I'm not really too privy to, whether it's Homer having a dream sequence, because from it tailing off it does show Homer asleep in his hammock, but again it could be a dream sequence, it could just be one of these.
Maybe.
But yeah, basically Homer in whatever this sequence is, he's playing a thief in the early Bible times, where Moses appears with the 10 Commandments, so basically setting that up, which gets explained a bit later on during the episode. But once we're actually in the present day, we've got Ned arguing with a cable guy
Who offers him 50 bucks for cable.
Yeah. So yeah, straight off the bat, he's basically being introduced to a dodgy cable guy. But from this, Homer then decides he wants free cable, even though, like we say, Ned was being offered it for 50 bucks.
Or was it free, or did he just pay 50 bucks and then that was it?
Possibly. Never elaborated on, but basically the whole premise is that Homer's getting free cable.
Yeah.
So yeah, once it's all hooked up and he tells the family about it, Marge, as the sensible half of the partnership, is apprehensive about it because of the fact it's like Bob talked about it and we can't afford it, and that's when Homer basically blurts out that it's for nothing anyway. But then it's like the kids at first are both for it. Lisa at this point is fine with it. And then Homer's just like, yeah, flick through the channels. It's like, I'll find something for Marge. So she's not actually too apprehensive after that. But then this just leads into a sequence of basically Homer on the couch watching hour after hour after hour, to the point of we get to the morning of him going to church and he's been sat there so long.
That's a Homer thing to do anyway.
Yeah, he's left an indent in the couch basically. But I think this is the earliest indication of that. They've watched TV before, but I think they're basically setting up the point of, cable's got so much to watch. And basically the story then develops. You've got Bart and Lisa in Sunday school, and basically the lesson is about hell, which Bart loves the idea of this.
He's fascinated by hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's where I think he'll end up going.
Well, yeah, it was hinted at, weren't it, in a couple of episodes ago when he got hit by the car when he went to hell.
Yeah.
And whatever that was. So it's like, yeah, we already know he's going.
He'll be following Homer, won't he?
Yeah, exactly. But this is where Lisa first starts to develop a conscience about it.
The usual Lisa thing to do.
Yeah, the 10 Commandments, this is where they come into it. The teacher goes through the whole thing and obviously ends up on the do not steal bit. And of course this is what triggers it. And yeah, basically from this point Lisa's just like, yep, I don't want to go to hell, so I don't want to be watching cable, which she tells the family of when they get home. But then a little later on you got Lisa and Marge at the supermarket. Marge is doing that thing that a lot of people do, just basically back in the day you'd just take some grapes and you just eat them sort of thing.
Well, the cashier weren't even bothered, was he?
This is it. So
the worker who worked there.
Yeah, Lisa has a little bit of a hissy fit.
As Lisa always tends to do when she doesn't get her own way.
Yeah, basically questions Marge on what I can't remember what number commandment was, but she's basically hinting at don't steal commandment, and Marge is just like, she can't remember what it is, and that's when Lisa just yells out in the middle of the supermarket, "Thou shalt not steal." And like you say, she, by pushing of Lisa, she says to the cashier, "Oh, I ate 2 grapes, charge me for them." Like you say, he doesn't care. He's like, 2 measly grapes? Yeah, price check on 2 measly grapes. So Lisa in a sense makes Marge look like a laughing stock there, for no reason. And then we get to the other side of it. The boxing match is advertised, and at this point it's made apparent that not many people in town have cable. Carl and Lenny, who are in the shower with Homer at work, it's like,
oh no, yeah.
I mean, I understand the power plant would need that basically, but I'd imagine that would be more a hazmat shower sort of thing if you get any radiation on you or anything.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Why you'd think that? And
basically, Carl and Lenny are talking about what they're going to do. We'll listen to the updates on the radio, watch the 11 o'clock news to watch the stills. And that's when Homer invites them round. But then we find out that Mr. Burns is a pervert. He's got cameras in the shower.
I know, yeah.
So he's overhearing this. And
must be good mates with Mo.
Exactly. Well, the 2 of the most evil people in town.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Mr. Burns decides he's going to invite himself round to watch the fight.
Which he could actually get cable himself anyway, but he doesn't want to pay the money.
But again, it not explain whether he actually has cable or not. He's like, he goes off into some tangent about, the fight is one of the very few times that I enjoy the smell and hustle and bustle of other people. So he may have cable, and he may just want to watch it with other people, or like you say, it's Mr. Burns trying to save money, so he probably doesn't have cable, but it's never elaborated on. And then we tail off at Moe's, where a couple more people get invited, and then Barney asks Moe why he didn't get cable, and he says how he chose a mechanical bull over it.
Yeah.
And it's like, this mechanical bull obviously hasn't been used in years, it's got cobwebs and everything, but apparently he's happy with his decision. Like,
good decision.
It's like, okay. But in the meantime, Lisa, who's racked with guilt as she normally is with stuff like this, goes to see Reverend Lovejoy. Starts talking about, is it considered stealing if a man steals a loaf of bread and all this? And then in the end it tails off. Lisa tells Reverend Lovejoy about the illegal cable. And basically at one point she goes, "Should I get my father arrested?"
Why do you want to get your father arrested? That's what I never got.
Yeah. And he's like, you could see at a point, Lovejoy's probably like, yeah, but no, you can't do that sort of thing. And he's like, you could set an example by not watching it, sort of thing.
I think she goes a bit too far.
Yeah, exactly. It's like okay, I understand you don't want to go to hell, but still, basically go.
Words come to mind to me is ghetto life.
Well, to be fair, it's been proven through the years. She may have a little bit of fun, but yeah, she doesn't exactly have much of a life. No. That's why she doesn't have many friends.
Exactly.
She wants to hang out with. But yeah, and then also Bart then discovers, shall we call them the Blue movies?
Yeah.
Even though when he gets caught by Homer, he sort of makes out that, he accidentally found them. He was trying to find something else.
Yeah.
And again,
he promises Homer he weren't going to watch it again.
Yeah, but we've learnt from previous episodes, Homer is promised so much by Bart, and Bart still lies about it.
Homer does the same thing, though.
Exactly, like father, like son.
Yeah, but then Bart invites a few people round to watch the Blue movies.
I know, all these 8 and 10-year-old kids watching. Is like, okay,
exactly.
But he charges, so at least he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you may recognise 3 of the kids which have been in the episodes before. You had the Sailor Kid, who was also in Bart the General episode. You got Howie, who was in the episode of Moaning Lisa. And then you had the American Spy, who was also in the Creeps of Wrath.
So yeah, just callbacks to the one.
Yeah.
Obviously some kids that shouldn't really be there, especially the Albanian kid who should really be
exactly
in his own country, however he was actually extradited. And yeah, in the meantime, Marge has been pleading, well, not pleading with Homer, but basically advising Homer maybe it's best to get cable taken out. Because Lisa's losing respect for Homer, and she's caught Bart watching the Blue channels as well.
Does Lisa really have respect for Homer anyway?
she sort of wants to look up to him, but it's obviously not in this episode with one asking should she get him arrested.
Yeah, there's two different personalities between Lisa and Homer.
Yeah. She's just got this problem. It's like, yeah, sometimes she does take things a step too far. I mean, obviously in this one she tries to take it a step too far with the arresting element, but it's like just protesting your own way.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Just leave it and not watching it. If the family choose to watch cable and let them get on with it, why fucking...
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. But Homer's basically... He doesn't want to get rid of it, but there is a little chink in the armour when the cable guy shows back up again, offering Homer a car stereo, which he's obviously just stolen.
Yeah.
And then he talks about, going to see his neighbour, obviously Ned, and he's like, well, he's not in. So the cable guy's like, oh, it sounds like he's about to break into Ned's. But even this doesn't stop Homer. And then we basically get to the fight night, at which point we learn that Homer's been stealing things not only from Moe's, but from
work as well.
From the power plant.
Yeah.
The fact that he tries to hide all of Moe's mugs, and then Moe turns up with a mug of his own. But then... he's more scared of Mr. Burns showing up and he's stolen stuff than the fact of, just a minute, I didn't even invite Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's his boss. He can't exactly turn around and say, what you doing here, get lost.
But then Lisa comes in saying, I'm not going to be watching the fight. I'll be protesting outside. Which Homer's like, all right.
Yeah. Just a lead up to that, when Mr. Burns turns up, you have Barney standing in the doorway. Mr. Burns, obviously just showing that he doesn't know who Homer is, starts talking to Barney, so he is Homer.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
But it's like, okay, even though Homer was at the door about a second ago, it's like, yeah. But like you say, Lisa does her silent protest. In this point with Homer running around trying to hide stuff, he's getting agitated by Lisa staring at him. He's trying to tell Lisa to just stop, go away sort of thing. And then Homer sits down with everybody to watch the fight, and then we just get into this little piece on Dredrick Tatum. Don't know if you notice, it's a slightly different character model for Tatum in this one to what he would eventually become. Sort of a generic sort of looking character in this one. So obviously early, maybe they weren't planning on bringing him back as a full-time, well, not full-time, but a reoccurring guest star.
Then we have the two police officers, Lou and Eddie.
Yeah, Homer thinks he's about to be arrested for...
Yeah, and they say, I heard you got free cable.
And then he starts to blame Marge for it like he normally does.
Exactly.
But yeah, they're just here because they want to watch the fight as well.
Yep, and when Lou and Eddie are at the door, the two have lines near their mouths, which make them look like the two heat beaks, basically. And when Lou and Eddie enter, they walk as if they're walking down the stairs. But that's the earlier series.
Yeah, they're still having a little bit of trouble with the animations.
So it's going to be like that.
But again, poor animation over poor storytelling, know what I'd take.
I do as well.
Yeah. If only you could, well, not poor animation now, but if only you could do better storylines.
Yeah.
But hey ho. So yeah, eventually Homer, through listening to the interviewer talking to Tatum about his jail time, he then sort of zones out and imagines himself being up in court for stealing the cable.
Yeah.
And this is the point of where he changes his tune. Instead of telling everybody to get out and cut the cable off, then he drags Bart outside and tells the rest of the family how he's getting rid of cable after the fight.
Thanks to Lisa.
Yeah. But he makes it clear that he's not happy about it. And sort of he doesn't say it in many words, but he's sort of making out like it's your fault basically that I'm out here, making me guilty and all this. So yeah, he basically has to sit outside and listen to everybody enjoying the fight, which for a boxing match goes the full 12 rounds. And by the sounds of it, it's near enough the knockout is on the final bell basically.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make out that, as a boxing match, it goes the distance. Because again, with boxing, you never know. You could pay for the fight, and the main fight may only last within 2 rounds.
Yeah.
The boxing is one of those things. It's like you're taking a risk just by paying for it.
Might even last a round.
Exactly. So the basically show that by watching this fight, you've got the full thing out of it. So Homer's even more dejected by that. He's missed the full fight. And then basically we just end the episode. He goes through with his plan. So he basically climbs up to the top of the power cables. I assume, would the cable be connected to that, or would it be?
I would imagine they would be.
But Homer being Homer,
He does the wrong ones.
he basically cuts off both sides of the street's power before, well, we believe he's cut off the cable. Basically, the episode ends with the screen just going fuzzy, so they're basically saying the cable's being cut off. And yeah, that's basically the episode as a whole there.
Yeah, at least I did take it a bit too far. In one sense, she was right about having free cable. Yeah, it's not good. You can get arrested for it. You can even get to go to prison for it. But in another sense, like you say, wanting a father to be arrested, that's taking it a tad too far.
Yeah, it's sort of think of, okay, you can understand to a point, she's heard it at Sunday school that stealing is against it's one of the sins on the 10 Commandments, don't want to go to hell, and basically, there's better ways to do it. She could have just gone with the silent protest like she did eventually and just decide not to watch it. But yeah, like you say, it's just taking it too far. But again, that's Lisa for you in some of these episodes.
Yeah.
But again, Homer on the other side, he's wrong as well for trying to get something like that for nothing. Because nowadays you wouldn't be able to really get cable or whatever the equivalent is.
No.
I mean, it's good enough to get it for cheap, but to get it for nothing, it is sort of like, I mean, some people may be able to do it, but it's still that case of...
And it's not being a role model as a father, is it? To be honest, because Bart may think, it's good to get free cable. I'll get that when I'm older.
Yeah, but then again, even on free cable, would you be able to get the blue channels? Wouldn't they be encrypted anyway? Or would they give them as free?
I'm not sure how cable works, to be fair.
Yeah, that one is a bit of a... But again, maybe it's part of it.
Even the police officers, what sort of role models are them as law enforcement, basically?
Yeah, well, let's face it, Springfield's never really had upstanding law enforcement.
True.
Well, apart from Rex Bannock.
Yeah.
And look what happened to him. He eventually got drummed out of town because he did his job too well. But maybe that's it for Springfield. They just like the corruption. Police force is corrupt. Mayor Quimby is corrupt.
Yeah.
It's like, as I say, when you look at it that way, it's like a lot of people in Springfield have broken law at one point or another. I mean, you have to look at Apu. He didn't want to lead the Quickie Mart, but as soon as he discovered that the fight was on, I'll leave my brother in charge.
Yeah. Marge has stole from the Quickie Mart. Even
though that was accidental, but but again, at other points, I'm sure Marge has broken the law.
Yeah.
As well. Well, the gun episode where she kept the gun.
Yeah.
When she wanted Homer to get rid of it, and I'm pretty sure there's been at least one episode where Lisa's done something wrong.
Yeah.
I can't think off the top of my head, but I'm sure she's broken. Saying that, when they did the aptitude test, it sent her over the edge, and she started acting up.
That's right.
So, again, she's not squeaky clean.
We know about Bart's.
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, as an episode, the premise is...
The moral of the story is getting something for free, like cable, is illegal. That's what they're getting at. That they're trying to make it aware that if you are considering getting something for free, like cable, then don't do it, because law enforcement will find you. Not Springfield law enforcement.
Well, they will find you, but unlike the Springfield law enforcement, they will actually... prosecute you in some way.
Yeah, the moral story is it's illegal, it's wrong, basically.
And again, you might have a family you do it and you've got two different sides to it, ones that are happy to have it, ones that aren't. But again, I highly doubt that there'll be many families that happens to them that they've got such lengths as have been wanting to have their father, whoever it is, getting it for free locked up or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else to put to the episode? Or should we just move on to the pros and cons of it?
Yeah, well, we've got some stuff about the episode, you know, some of the stuff. A plant next to the couch grows to maturity, then dies as the Simpsons watch hours on end of cable.
Again, that's just basically showing it as how
Yeah,
long
it
the
is, yeah,
duration
basically.
Yeah, also the Flanders doorbell plays the theme song from the 1960s claymation show Davy and Goliath. If I remember rightly, that show either got mentioned in a later one or something similar.
I think it did get mentioned in a later one.
Again, I think that was something revolving around possibly Todd Flanders. I think it was the one where he overheard Homer swearing.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were just trying to work out what he was watching. Also, the sign outside the church reads "God, the original love connection." Bit weird, but again,
yeah,
you sort of
is.
have those weird ones. The broadcaster who announces during the pre-fight coverage is the same man who announces Todd Flanders and Bart's putt golf showdown in Dead Putt in Society. But again, that can just be put off as just like the same voice actor and not changing his voice, basically.
You wouldn't know that though unless you look closely.
Yeah. Also, one of the shows on television has the lines "Lemonade, please," which sounds similar to one of the non-violent cartoons in Itchy, Scratchy and Marge. Again, I think that's just put up because if I remember right, in that scene, that's where Homer's going through the channels, going seeing it. So obviously, I think that's just a nod to the fact
yeah,
he's watching
the
same Itchy and Scratchy show from before. The episode features the debut appearances of Troy McClure and Dredrick Tatum. Troy McClure one passed me by. I didn't realise it was his first appearance. Thought he'd appeared in something else or another episode. As I said earlier,
yeah, I thought it was, to be honest.
But I think that just got thrown because Dr. Nick was in this episode as well.
Yeah, he was.
So
yeah,
maybe it's a case of and like I said before, Dredrick Tatum, sort of realised it because it's like his character model, if I remember rightly, does change slightly from this one. It just looks more like they were just aiming for him to just be a one-off appearance sort of thing.
Yeah.
But also this episode won the Best Animated Programme Award at the Emmys in '91.
Well, like I said before, earlier Simpsons, they had more ideas. They didn't just rely on the films, basically. They tried to make their own ideas, but incorporate references, but then have their own ideas on episodes. Unlike today, where we see the Simpsons like taking skits from films, losing their own ideas, you know.
Yeah, or just with some of them, they just rejig older episodes as well. And then finally, for the references, the golden statues that hers on basically the thief in the opening sequence.
Yeah.
Carves refers to a god of sex. So yeah.
Good reference. Do you want to do the pros and cons of the episode?
Cons.
Actually, stop that a minute. Even Grandpa was in the episode.
Oh yeah, he was actually on the sofa. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the sofa, but then he doesn't reference Homer, does he? He just leaves the house and reference.
Yeah, to be
Homer.
fair, that sort of comes across as the fact that maybe the animators wanted to put as many characters in as they could. So it's like some of them were just put in as non-speaking roles, and maybe because of the timing, they may have just forgot that Grandpa was there or who he was.
Maybe, yeah.
There's also a couple of goofs in the episode as well. At Sunday school, the Sunday school teacher, Miss Albright, when she writes on the whiteboard, firstly it appears as red, it then goes to black, but then goes back to red again.
Yeah, it's like you say, early seasons of The Simpsons, the animation is still, trying to get it to work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now we've done all that. Let's go on to the pros and cons of the episode.
Yes.
As normal, we'll go to the cons first. Cons, we said, taking it a tad too far when wanting to get her own father arrested. You can see her point of view, but we'll get to the positives in a minute. But wanting to get her father arrested.
It's that and the supermarket scene as well.
Yeah, that just embarrasses Marge.
It's like, what sort of person is really that bothered? I mean, yeah.
Even the worker weren't that bothered.
Yeah.
For 2 measly grapes.
Yeah. So, yeah, but again, this is Lisa's goody two-shoes act that she shows so many times.
Yeah, and I find if you don't agree with what Lisa's thinking, then she goes in a mood until she gets her own way.
Yeah, she's sort of one of these who tries to hammer a point across as much as she can.
Yeah.
You either agree with it or she'll just argue with you until you submit, basically.
Yeah, or go silent.
Yeah. So it's basing away her way of the highway, basically, at some points.
Yeah.
Obviously, although it was the premise of the episode, the whole stealing... saying that, the stealing the cable firstly, but at the same point, when you look into it deeper, it can come across as a positive for the whole storyline of it. But again, a little bit of a con as well. Homer just being a thief in general, getting cable for nothing. He's stealing glasses from Moe's.
He's robbing from work,
Yeah.
power plant.
So it's like, yeah, although he shows a little bit of a conscience towards the end when he's confronted by the cable guy again, when it's shown that he's a more big-time thief who's stealing from cars and plans to break into Ned's house. That basically is like, it shows a bit that Homer's got a conscience and he wouldn't go that far, but again, he's just being portrayed as basically just somebody who steals everything near enough.
Another thing, I don't know if it seems like to you, but it seems like the living room looked bigger with all those people in it. It didn't seem as small as it usually does. I don't know if it was just me, but the living area where the TV is, it seemed bigger.
Yeah, but in fairness, if you think about it, it swaps from time to time. Sometimes it looks like they're watching it I think mainly they look like they're watching it at the back of the house.
Yeah. It's
very rare that you see it in the front, because normally the front's just a living area normally.
Yeah. So
maybe that's why it seemed bigger, because maybe just a case of put the TV in there so they could have more people there, sort of thing, because I doubt they'd get... But at the same point, I say that they get more in there, but on in the programme, but had all the kids around in the normal place they watch TV.
Yeah, true,
so
yeah.
It's big enough for that. So again...
Maybe it was just me, but it did seem
it might just be in a continuity error. He did it as the front room and not realising it should have been the other room, or vice versa with the kids coming round to watch the Blue movie.
Yeah.
Maybe he told it to be another one. Again, continuity, I'd probably put that down to not realising.
Yeah.
Another con, I mean, it gets shown so many times in the episodes, but like we hinted on before, Lou and Eddie just shown as being so corrupt.
Yeah.
It's like they know Homer's got cable illegally, but they choose to invite themselves round to watch it.
That's the coppers in... that's the police basically in Springfield all over. Like we said before, corrupt.
Yeah. But again, just that, as I say, it's not a major con for the episode, because it, like we say, it happens so much in there. But in this episode alone, it's just like, yeah, just hammers home the fact how corrupt or immoral the police are.
Yeah.
Any other cons?
I think that's it, to be honest. Positives. Well, the main positive is trying to get something for free. Basically, cable for free. Just saying it's illegal. Just trying to hammer it home that if you want it, you, like I said before, you'll be found out. You will be arrested.
Yeah, in a sense, although, like we say, the way Lisa goes around it, it sort of acts as a redemption episode for Homer, even though by the end he's not doing it. Doesn't seem like he's doing it for the right reasons, because he's still annoyed at the fact he's got to get rid of cable. He does go from a point of where it's put across that he's a thief or a petty thief, to eventually sort of coming to some sort of senses and realising that it's wrong that he's getting cable for nothing, and comes to realisation if he keeps going with it, he's probably going to get at least a court appearance out of it. So
yeah,
he gets a little bit there.
Part of the episode, I think they want you to see a father figure to his kids, basically, as a role model. So the end of it, he wasn't a role model by getting free cable at first, but at the end of the episode, he become a role model, as in he wants to get rid of the free cable, basically, and show his kids that it's a wrong thing to do to get free cable get cable illegally.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to just blur out the Lisa element to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually coming to his senses. So yeah, as I say, there's a little bit of redemption for Homer to actually show that he has got a conscience at times. Any other positives?
The whole episode was, in that sense.
Yeah, the storyline itself was the positive. They had to do it as a low point to get to that high of big redemption for Homer. Obviously, put across the moral of the story of it's not right to steal. Maybe with the grape element, it's a case of it may be considered stealing, but it's a petty theft. So basically, maybe trying to say theft as a whole is wrong, but there's certain elements that are not as wrong as others.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's it, to be honest.
Yep.
There's not much more we can say about it. But if we've missed any pros and cons on the episode, or there is something like you disagree with what we've said, please comment down below.
Like, share, subscribe.
And we'll see you in the next video.